Has there ever been that one opportunity that came and went and you did not say yes? You did not take the bull by the horns and you have regretted it. I know that there have been so many times that I've been hesitant to act, or I just haven't really thought about how this would affect me in the future. And so I didn't say yes to an opportunity. And today we are going to walk away from this episode pumped, seeking positive opportunities that we can step into, enjoy the ride, and see where they take us. Welcome back to episode 49 of the What If It Works podcast. I'm your host, Ann Vogt, and today I'm going to talk to you about three different, very unique opportunities that came to me in the last year that are all coming to fruition right now at the end of June, early July. And it's just kind of comical because they are not connected at all. However, all three of these opportunities brought me immense joy and fun. And who knows where they will lead me in the future. And so, as we're talking today, I want you to be thinking about opportunities that have been put in front of you, maybe currently are being placed in front of you. And what if it works if you say yes to those opportunities? What if it gets you somewhere further down the line? If you have not listened to my chain links episode, that is an episode where I talk about how little events and opportunities led me to where I am today. And so who knows where these opportunities that I said yes to in the last year will take me in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Let's get into it. I cannot wait to talk to you about a couple of these opportunities that have come my way. And they all are very different and are going to get me very different results potentially, but are all unique experiences that I would not have had I did not say yes. So I'm going to start with the furthest one out. About 2 years ago, I was working for Farm Camp Minnesota, actually working for Minnesota Agriculture in the Classroom Foundation, running their Farm Camp program as their program director. And while in that role, I consistently heard from teachers that they want to teach their students about agriculture. They're just not knowledgeable themselves, and they wanted resources that could help them understand agriculture today and help connect their students to agriculture careers. And so I set out on a mission with my executive director, Anne Marie Ward, and she started securing funding so that we could create educational resources for people, educators specifically, to teach their students about ag careers, unique ag careers that maybe people don't even know exist. And really, our goal was to figure out how the people who are in ag careers today found that career. What did they like to do as kids that they now get to do as adults? Because that's really, I am so passionate about helping young people figure out what they love and what they're passionate about. And then how can you go transfer that into the workplace? And I would say the same for all of you adults that are listening right now. If you are not feeling passionate and fueled up in the work that you do, take a time out, go through the the impact model and investigate what you want and go get it, right? Because life is too short to stay in a role or stay in a job where you do not feel like you are serving others, that you are fulfilling your own purpose in life at the same time. So I was so excited that Anne Marie secured this funding. However, I had really stepped into my business full time and had to step away from Farm Camp before we were ready to move forward with the creation of these ag career videos. However, about 6 months after I left Minnesota Agriculture in the Classroom, I was approached to host these interviews, line the interviews up, host them, ask all the questions, be on camera, and then engage with the material afterwards. And it was such a dynamite opportunity. Let me tell you, I'm going to give you a little forward projection. I would absolutely love in my future to have my own show where I interview people for fun. I interview people to share with an audience about, chasing your dreams, following your passion, all that good stuff. And so when I was offered this opportunity, I thought, okay, I don't know if I'm going to stay in the agriculture space for very long. That's not what my business is in, and all that good stuff. But this was such an opportunity for me to practice interviewing, staying, engaged during an interview, staying in it, thinking about my presence on camera, thinking about interacting with the guest before and after filming, all of that good stuff. And it was such an incredible, eye-opening experience. I remember our first shoot, Scott, the gentleman that I worked with at Lakeland Public Television, said, "Hey, we're going to learn so much from today. So just go out and have fun. No big deal. Just go have fun, because the next set of videos, the next set of interviews are going to be totally different, because we're going to be able to use what we learned today and completely change what we do next time." And if that isn't a metaphor for life, I don't know what is. Trying something for the first time with the idea that, hey, this is just an opportunity, this is just an experience, this is just an adventure, and all we got to do is ride it out and figure out how to shift, how to change. It was such a cool opportunity for me to step into that space. The Egg documentary is out. It is aired. It aired on June 27th. I will put the link in the show notes so you can kind of check that out and follow along with that. Absolute big shout out to Scott and Nathan and Randy and Kelsey from Lakeland PBS, who joined us for all of the shoots and really made it fun and comfortable being on camera and this new experience for me. Psst. We interrupt this broadcast to remind you that mistakes are made. When I started this podcast, I thought the first few episodes would be a big learning curve. And yet here we are. Here we are 49 episodes in, and a glitch occurred and a big mistake was made. When I recorded this episode, I recorded it in chunks, 3 parts. And after I finished the big chunk of part 3 that you're just about to hear now, I exited out and deleted all of part 2. All of it. On accident, thinking it was part 1 that I didn't want to keep into the episode. And so I had to re-record this intro, this first few minutes, the next day. So if you're wondering why there's about to be a glitch in the video, that's why. But I just want to remind you that had I not taken the opportunity to get started with this podcast, we would not be here. We would not be 49 episodes in laughing and chuckling about that glitch. We had another glitch last week in which my podcast episode was not able to air. You're going to find out later in this episode why, but that episode will air soon. It just couldn't air last Tuesday. So welcome to July, 6 months into the year, and we're just still learning and growing, and that's good. And that's good for all of us to remember. So continue into part 3. Enjoy. Minnesota Ag Careers meets interviewing the First Lady of Minnesota. So this is going to be my celebrity podcast interview. I was so fortunate to interview the First Lady of Minnesota. And again, talk about an opportunity that came from an opportunity. So fun fact, I graduated from Mankato West in 2001, and one of my friends from high school has just opened a bar of their own up in Minneapolis. So if you are not familiar, this is a sports bar that only shows women's sports. It is up in Minneapolis. You have to stop in. Dynamite food, dynamite service. The staff is fantastic. And the class of 2001 wanted to celebrate one of our own and her opening of this bar. And so I was invited to join the softball team who was coming to celebrate Jillian's opening, the opening of this bar. And I was not on the softball team. Was I a cheerleader? Yes. Have I always been a big supporter of Jillian as we were friends in middle school and beyond? Absolutely. And so when I was asked to if I wanted to go along to when I was invited to go along to this softball reunion, I said, absolutely, yes, not realizing what was going to come out of my attendance at this event. And so we walked in. I was able to talk to so many people that I've not been able to touch base with since high school. And it was exciting and fun. And lo and behold, in the middle of this event, in walks First Lady Gwen Walls into a bar of their own. Little did we know that she had been invited because she was our English teacher. And it was exciting to see her come in and celebrate with us, and we were able to connect. Now, a good friend of mine, Rochelle, who is a podcast listener and one of my biggest cheerleaders, so thank you so much, Rochelle, said to Mrs. Walls, hey, have you listened to Ann Vogt's podcast? And Gwen was like, I didn't know Ann had a podcast. So they talk about it for a minute. And then as Gwen is leaving, I say, hey, any chance I could get a photo with you before you go? And she says, sure. Oh, and by the way, if you ever needed or wanted to do a podcast interview, I would love to be on your podcast. What? What is happening right now? And so I was so excited that that opportunity led to another opportunity. And there was no way I was going to say no to the opportunity to interview the First Lady of Minnesota. And so we were able to record that. That is going to air very soon. Hopefully it is in the next episode or two that you'll be able to hear our hour-long conversation, not just about school, because she was a teacher, but also about educating everyone, really talking about how they are making a difference in Minnesota. The episode is exciting because not only did we talk about where I sat in English class junior year, but we also were able to talk about things that we are both mutually passionate about, especially education and teaching people and allowing opportunity for others to learn after they have even gotten out of the education system. And so it was a very fun episode. I cannot wait for you to hear it. But an opportunity that I did not see coming, that was not on my 2024 bingo board, right? And neither was this last one. And so when I tell you these are diverse experiences, we're talking an agriculture documentary, interviewing the First Lady of Minnesota, and this last one is pretty funny. I have a friend, Gwen Russell, who has started a business in Redwood Falls, which is called Core Bungee Fitness. Super exciting. I was so pumped for her when she got going on this journey, and I could not wait to get into one of her classes. Well, I popped in, again, taking the opportunity to celebrate Gwen during one of her pop-ups. And I popped in, and her and her husband were there, and they said, oh, do you want to go check out the bungee room? And of course I wanted to check out the bungee room. So I went back there and I got strapped in and I got to fly with Gwen and her husband, Scott. We had so much fun. And then Gwen was reminded that I was a dance coach in the past. And she said, oh my gosh, we are shooting a promotional video for Core Bungee Fitness. Would you be willing and interested in being in the video shoot? And I was like, absolutely. That would be so fun. I would love to help you with that project, but also I would just love to come do Core Bungee Fitness at the same time. And so at the end of May, I was able to sneak on over to Redwood Falls one night and be part of a class that was filmed for her promotional video. And that video is coming out very soon. And it just was funny that that video is coming out. Our podcast episode with Mrs. Walls is coming out, and the egg documentary, all within a matter of 10 days. And it just makes me laugh because there is not a big thread that goes through those three opportunities, right? Other than a willingness to say yes to something new. A willingness to be in the right place at the right time, or even to put yourself into a place that you weren't normally going to be, because you never know what kind of opportunities can come of that. When I was trying to connect these three events, it really came down to just serving others, right? Being willing to help with the documentary, the Ag Career documentary, being willing to go drive up to way northern Minnesota and interview different people in agriculture was just a fun opportunity. And like I said, I knew in my head that I really wanted to do this later on in life as well, which I really hope I get the opportunity to do. And so I wanted to put myself out there in that way as well. It also is really fun when you have an idea and it comes to fruition. And that's what happened with that one. But we are definitely serving educators with those resources. We are also serving the state of Minnesota and anyone else who watches the documentary at the same time, because they get to learn a little bit more about diverse ag careers that maybe people don't know exist. And if you don't know something exists, you don't even know that that opportunity is open for you. And so I'm so excited to not only serve educators, but also help students see themselves in a career that maybe they didn't even know was possible. Now, with the interview with Mrs. Walls, this is an opportunity for me to not only serve you as my listeners, but also serve all of not only serve you as my listeners, but also get a little personal interview where I got to speak one-on-one for an hour with someone who was important in my childhood. She makes a lot of references in the episode about what I was like as a kid. And I was kind of laughing, being like, oh my gosh, I am so beyond that. But at the same time, there are still pieces of my personality that are very similar because they were constructed at that time in my life as you were growing, and living and kind of morphing into the person you're going to become later on. And so it was a really fun episode, and I really hope it serves those of you who listen. It's a very different perspective on education and thinking of it far beyond the classroom as well, which is exciting. And then the opportunity to be there for Gwen. As an entrepreneur, you get started and you're so excited and you want and hope that everyone in your life is going to show up for like that open door moment, right? So my business didn't have a day where you have a grand opening. And some of us don't, right? Some of us as entrepreneurs that do a service, you don't really have a grand opening that you can open your doors to. But you hope that if you ever were to have that event, that everyone and their mom would show up to, right? And it doesn't always happen that way. I will be really, really honest in saying that there is an aspect of our culture that says, I'm excited for you, but I'm also just going to sit back and watch and see what happens. And as I've gotten older, I can respect that and I can understand why that is what it is. But man, any new entrepreneur that I see, if there is a way that I can help and I can serve and I can be there for them, I want to be that, because I needed those cheerleaders in my life, right? I needed the Rochelle saying to the First Lady of Minnesota, did you know Ann has a podcast? Like, she is such a cheerleader for me. I had a couple phone calls this week for new gigs happening this fall, and all of them came from referrals. And those are cheerleaders of mine that are not only taking in my content or, hiring me for gigs themselves, but they're also going out there and being cheerleaders of mine as well. And so when I have the opportunity to do that for someone else and do that for an entrepreneur, you better believe I'm going to take it and I'm going to try my best to do that. And so I'm excited to serve the people who take Core Bungee fitness classes because they see this promotional video or they see how much fun we were having. Because if you have not taken a bungee fitness class yet, go get signed up. It is so much fun. I want to describe it in the best way, which is like, imagine climbing a mountain. I don't want you to think this is hard. It's not hard. That's the best part about it. So imagine climbing a mountain and getting to a beautiful view, but doing that without a ton of strenuous effort. That's what bungee fitness is. You are sitting there and you are doing burpees, but you have the support of the bungee that makes it fun and fast paced and energetic. And it's not as strenuous as doing those body lifting activities. You also get to fly. Like, where do you get the opportunity to run and jump and soar through the air being fully supported the entire time? So if you have not checked out Core Bungee Fitness and you are local, you need to check it out. It is a dynamite experience. Gwen was originally doing all of the directing, but now she has a team of individuals that are taking Core Bungee Fitness to the next level and giving her the opportunity to enjoy directing and leading classes, because she was doing a lot in the beginning, which is what entrepreneurs do, friends. Like, this is what we do. We go all in and we make it happen, because this is our dream and this is what we want. And it feels so good when you can get some outside and extra support to come in and help you. And so I'm so excited for you to meet the trainers over there at Core Bungee Fitness and try it out, because it is a blast. So highly, highly recommend. And when that video is out, you'll be seeing it all over my social media page. So be prepared. I can't wait to see it myself. I did a lot of laughing in that video. It's just so much fun. I knew a lot of the people in the room as well, which also makes it fun. So there's a way for you to take a group of you and go do a private class with Gwen. Highly, highly recommend, because it just adds to the excitement and the energy level in the room, which is what you want when you exercise, right? You want to have fun, you want to laugh and enjoy yourself. And that's what you get to do over there. So these 3 opportunities came to me, and I could have easily said no to all 3 of them. I could have told Mrs. Walls, like, oh, thank you so much, but I'm good. Or I could have said, I no longer work for Minnesota Agriculture in the Classroom, find somebody else, right? Or, Gwen, I'm not going to drive an hour on a Wednesday, for this. I could have said that. And those are not things I said, because I am out here just looking. I feel I'm consistently looking for new experiences, new adventures, new opportunities. And what does that do for me? And what can that do for you? Just imagine saying yes to new things that you've never thought possible, or that you never thought you were going to gain from or grow from. I recently was talking to a parent who started coaching their child in soccer, and they said, man, I did not think this was going to be so rewarding. I thought it was going to be a lot of work. The only reason I said yes is because I'm at the games anyways, so I might as well do it. And they were just like gushing about how fun it was to see kids grow in their skills and see kids work together and laugh and have fun and give each other high fives at the end of the game. Like, it fueled this person up, where they thought it was going to be an opportunity that drained them. And so how many of us are saying no to opportunities because of something stuck in our heads, because of a belief that we are holding on to, and we're holding on to it because we want it to be true, or we think it's going to be true? Like, it will be exhausting to coach 8-year-olds, or it will be exhausting to go do all these interviews, right? That's a mindset. And that's a mindset that is taking opportunity away from you. And so how can we open up our mind and turn on our RAS? If you have not heard me talk about RAS, it is your reticular activating system. This is a part of the brain that seeks information that you want to find. And so if you set your RAS to look for new opportunities, you are going to be amazed at how many there are out there. Maybe you get an email working at the bank, and it says, hey, we're looking for 5 volunteers to help with X event. You're going to see that email now and not go, what is this about? Oh, I don't have time. You're going to see it and go, bing, bing, bing. Here's an opportunity. Here's an opportunity for you to leave work early, but also serve the community at the same time and represent the bank out in the public, right? Maybe there's an opportunity for you to volunteer at your kids' school, and you go in and you're like, oh man, I got to take an hour off and miss my lunch. And that's what you could be telling yourself in your mindset, is that this is too much work. But then you walk in and you see your child smiling face. They're just beaming because their parent came in to volunteer that day. And that your student might remember that forever. And so you are making memories. You are opening up opportunities, not only for yourself, but for other people at the same time, right? Opening up the opportunity that your student gets to see their parent during the school day, which not all the kids get to do, right? And so, what are we saying in our heads about opportunity, and how can we change that? I really want you just thinking about and looking for opportunities that will help you grow, opportunities that will allow you to learn, opportunities that get you closer to reaching your true potential. And no, I'm not saying say yes to everything, because you might be somebody that people approach often. I'm saying before you say no, before you write down a list of how that's going to go wrong or why that's not going to work, you pause and you say, will this opportunity get me closer to finding my passion, finding my purpose, get me closer to that promotion that I've really been looking forward to, get me closer to where I want to be as a leader, or where I want to grow in with my potential? And if the answer is yes, this opportunity will do that for me, say yes. You never know what is going to come of that opportunity and where that opportunity could take you. I was on the phone today with a good friend. His name is Bruce Tiffany, and we were just talking about different opportunities and how they consistently come to us. And when we said that, we were like, wait, I bet opportunities are consistently coming to all people. We're just so aware of them. We are constantly seeking them. And so when they're placed right in front of us, we're like, absolutely, yes, let's go. Because we know that when we say yes to opportunities, it usually sparks either good conversation, a good experience, or a learning experience that we know not to say yes to ever again. I don't know if I've ever talked about this on the podcast. Some people listening are going to die laughing because this is one of my favorite stories. But I said yes to a volunteer opportunity for my son's hockey team. And it was one of the worst experiences of my life. However, I laughed through the entire thing. And at the end, I was like, thanks, but no thanks. I will never be back to do this again. um, Only because, just a side note, in case anybody listening to this is local and knows what I'm talking about, I am someone who loves being productive. I am someone who wants to show up to an event and I want to stay moving the whole time and really see efficiency and see my work come to fruition. Okay. And this volunteer opportunity was meant to be a slow burn, a slow process that took 12 hours, but I got to get 12 of my 20 hours done in one day. I was so pumped for it. And then it was the opposite of fast moving and productive. And that was really hard for me. If you know me, you know I was like, what can I do now? What can I do now? What are we up to now? And it just did not jive with my personality. And that is okay, because there were people who loved that 12-hour volunteer opportunity, and good for them. So saying yes to opportunity also helped me grow and learn, you know what? This one isn't for me. And that's okay too. I want you turning on that RAS. I want you looking for opportunity. Maybe your boss asks you to step up and lead a meeting. And instead of saying, well, let's let so and so do it because they have this project they're going to pitch at that meeting, you say, absolutely, I would love to do that. And then you get up there, you start the meeting, and you introduce that first speaker. But you take control of that meeting and you show up as the leader you want to be when you do get to run your own meetings, right? There are opportunities all over that we can say yes to. Maybe you're having some relationship stuff going on with your spouse, with your significant other, and they bring up an opportunity. Hey, should we go to the brewery tomorrow night to check out this live band? And you're like, no, it's going to be Friday and I'm tired and I don't really want to do that. Or do you say yes? Because maybe you'll have a good time. right? And so instead of leaning in on that mindset of it's going to be a long day, I'm going to be tired, I don't want to go, you say, you know what? Let's try it. And maybe you go and you are tired and you are run down and it is not fun, but at least you gave the opportunity a shot. And who knows what happens when you do that. I want to know in the comments 2 things. Number 1, what is an opportunity you said yes to that changed your life or that gave you such a learning experience that you have savored it and taken it with you everywhere? Or number 2, what is an opportunity you're going to say yes to after this podcast? After you've listened to this and you're like, you know what? I'm fired up. I am going to say yes to my boss the next time they ask me to lead a meeting. I am going to say yes about that opportunity that isn't a promotion. It's a move over, but maybe there's something over there that I don't even know what's coming, but saying yes to that opportunity will give me a new experience. So throw those down below in this video and let's start a conversation all about opportunities. Let's cheer each other on because when we say yes, we learn, we grow, and we step one step closer to reaching our full potential. I am so grateful you are here. I hope there is an opportunity that you say yes to, and man, it works, right? What if it works? What if saying yes to opportunity opens doors you never even thought were in the building? And because you say yes, you get to go down that hallway and down that path and open those doors in the future. What if it works? It could completely change your life for the better. So go out there, open those doors, say yes, have fun, experience something new, and learn and grow from it. You guys are the best. I appreciate you so much. If you've not given a review to this podcast, please do so. It helps other leaders like yourself find it and get fueled up at the same time because that's what we're here to do. Go out there and create change.